and go for a run. Put your clothes back on first.
When you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go.
Hi, welcome back. It's Adrian the Mountain Man. If you've been watching the channel for any length of time, you probably recognize I am at the parking lot of the Umstead State Park. This is where I ran my 100 and I did most of my training this spring. I've been kind of avoiding coming back here because I've run here so much this year. But as I mentioned in the last couple of videos, it's hunting season in this area. So this is just the best place to go, at least for, like there's Eno River State Park, but that's very technical and very hilly. So you can run out there, but you can't, it would take you forever to do like a 20 or 30 mile long run out there. So I come back here, so here I am. I might do a little bit more single track this time around just to break it up. But today I wanted to talk about, I'll take you along for my long run, and I want to talk about nutrition and hydration. That's very, very important. I found that's very important for being able to, sorry, we're next to the airport. That's where Umstead State Park is. Very important, especially the longer your race is. I used to get away with like Gatorade and like I would have like Red Bull in one of these for like 50 Ks, and that was fine. It worked out great. But as I started doing 40 miles and 50 milers, I had to use big boy tools, I guess. Use like some proper nutrition products. So I'll bring you along. I'll talk about how to do a sweat test. I'll talk about these that I use instead of these. It's the same product, but different packaging, and why I do that, and just some other tips. All right, I'll see you out on the run. Thanks. Hello. All right, looks like they're having a little race in here today. There's a 5K and 10K so far. So that's fun. It's the Saturday after Thanksgiving, so probably some kind of a turkey trot. But anyway, before I get started, I just wanted to do the typical disclaimers. This is what I found to work for me for hydration and nutrition. I'm not a dietitian. My wife is, but she's not a sports dietitian. So, you know, if you want to get the best advice, you should consider working with a sports dietitian to make sure you're getting all your, you know, your calorie needs and your hydration needs. But so with that out of the way, the first thing that you need to do as far as hydration, finding your hydration needs, is you need to do what's called a sweat test, and it's pretty simple. You're gonna need a scale. Probably a digital scale will be the best, because you're measuring, what you're doing is you're going to take off all your clothes and weigh yourself. Make sure you've already gone to the bathroom and everything, because you don't want to go to the bathroom while you're running, because that'll affect the results of your test. But so yeah, just weigh yourself and go for a run. Put your clothes back on first. And then go for a run for an hour, and then come back, then weigh yourself naked again, and you want to take note of how much weight you lost. And there's a conversion chart between, like, you know, if you lost 0.5 pounds or 1.2 pounds, and that will convert that into ounces. Some people probably already know that off the top of their head, but I sweat a lot, so my results were 25 ounces an hour. So that's about 1.5 of these things. I'm sorry, I'm talking to you on the side. I'm trying to keep you out of the sun. So that's about 1.5 of these every hour. So that's why I'm always talking about I need to be drinking, because I should be going through, you know, in a 2-hour run, I should be going through 3 of these. So, but yours will be different. Also, that can be affected by the conditions. So, as you're training, you want to, you know, if you go from, you know, I'm training in the summer, it's 90 degrees out. and then you're, you know, going into the fall where it's 40 degrees out, those results are going to change. It's not so critical going that way because, you know, if you're just overhydrated, you know, that can cause some issues, but most likely you're just to get out. But if you're going the other way, if it's 40 and then a couple months later it's 80 and you're still using the old number, you're going to be dehydrated. So that's the first thing you need to do in order to determine what your hydration needs are. I will come back in a minute. I'm going to try and get out of the middle of this race so I'm not in people's way and trying to pay attention to the camera and people running at the same time. All right, see you in a second. All right, now that you have your numbers for your how much water you need to be taking in, you definitely got to practice that. Most people do not take in enough water, and you can get away with that up to a point. I'd say like maybe a half marathon. You're gonna start to feel it, but I mean that's assuming you're drinking some water. But if you get underhydrated, dehydrated, you're gonna start feeling it. But yeah. Anything further than that, you're just gonna start to cramp it up. You're gonna just feel worn out. But you also need electrolytes, and this kind of transitions a little bit towards the nutrition side of things as well. I use what's called Tailwind, and they have different flavors, but it's very faint, so it's not like drinking a Gatorade where it's like super sweet. I can't do super sweet stuff. I love candy, but not on a run. So I put 1 scoop of Tailwind in each bottle. That's 100 calories each, but it also has the electrolytes that you need to help keep you from cramping. And then some people will use more than that because a lot of people will just use the Tailwind calories as their calories. I like to have something a little bit more solid than that. I use it's called Spring Energy. I'll show you in a minute, but yeah, you gotta have those electrolytes in the water. All right, guys. Serendipitous. I just did 10 miles. I'm starting to walk. I'm gonna take my jacket off, but I just did 10 miles at about 10-minute pace, and it's about 10 o'clock. So yeah. So I was gonna talk about these are the 2 products that I use. Oh, and I use one other thing called use UCAN as well. But yeah, these 2 are Spring Energy. This one tastes like kind of cinnamon applesauce. This has a lot of carbs, which is really good, something you need when you're doing really long efforts. 180 calories. This one is the Speed Nut. I would just use this, but I kind of get sick of just taking the same thing for like 24 hours. So I alternate between this and this every half hour. But I don't take a full one. I think you're supposed to take these like every 45 minutes. But what I do is I have these 2, these like bigger soft flasks. I think these are this one's 170 milliliters. And then I have another one that's it's like a Goo brand. I think this is 150 milliliters. And these each hold about 4 of these. And that way I can take as much or a little as I want when I'm running. And I also don't have to, so that's like 8 or 10 of these that I don't have to open and then figure out what I'm going to do with the trash. And you got gloves, your hands are cold. If I'm going to use one of these, I can just pop the lid on this one, and then this one, it just twists open, and I can squeeze out as much or as little as I want. So that works out well for me because I tend to take stuff more often, but not as much. So every half hour, so say on the 30 minutes of the hour, I'll take some of this, and then on the hour, I take some of this. And I've just get accustomed to like how much I definitely take less than this each time. That's why I take it a little bit more frequently, because I found when I was using these, I was not taking all of it, and I was holding on to this thing for a long time. Then my hands would get cold, and then I get stuff all over me. So I tend to I've got a bunch of these. In fact, for the 100 in April, I had a few sets of these, and so I would just take one of each for each lap, and then my crew would refill. They'd give me when I came in, I would give them the 2 empty ones, they would give me 2 full ones, and then they would refill the ones that I gave them. So I just had this, and then I take this UCAN basically once every couple of hours, 2.5 hours, and that's just because it's a very like a clean taste. It's almost like, it's not like toothpaste, but it's like has that kind of effect where it's like you've had this stuff in your mouth, and you know, this is water. It pretty much tastes like water, but you're just having kind of sugary stuff. This is just a very clean, like orange flavor, and it just kind of, for me, it just like wipes that kind of taste out of my mouth, so then I can go for the next 2 or 3 hours. So I just use this basically for that reason. All my nutrition needs are met with this, with the Spring Energy. But I just like to have something a little bit different. So that's what I carry with me. And like I said, how I manage garbage and not having to open all this stuff all the time. The only other thing I'll do during like an ultra is I'll eat some stuff at the aid station if I feel like it. I find like after 4 or 5 hours, you know, I want like some potato chips or some pretzels or things like that. I tend not to like to take regular goos. They're just too sweet for me. And this stuff, I said this tastes like cinnamon applesauce. This tastes kind of like it's kind of cocoa. What does it say? It says nutty cocoa berry. So it's almost like peanut butter and jelly, but much more on the kind of peanut butter cocoa side of things than like any kind of jelly. Yeah, and so then during races, I will just take things as I feel like I need them. A lot of times I want something salty, and like a potato chip like Pringles or something like that easily digest. I'd rather do that. I really love pretzels, but I find them hard to eat during a race because my mouth's so dry, and so I tend to stick with chips, or like I love gummy bears on a race. All right, I am, like I said, about halfway into this race. I'm gonna take this jacket off. It started in the high 30s, and now it's probably getting close to 50. So I'm gonna take the jacket off and head back, do the second half of this run. All right, I'll take you guys along. See you then. I want to let you guys know that this video topic was requested by Caleb. He's one of my subscribers. So if you guys have any topics you'd like me to discuss, please put it in the comments and I will try to get to it. I also wanted to say congratulations to Caleb. He got engaged yesterday, the day after Thanksgiving. So congratulations to you, Caleb, and to your fiance. All right, on with the run. Alright guys, that was my 16 miles, about 10:26 pace, so pretty good for my first long run back. I didn't get 20, but it's pretty close. My hamstrings are getting a little tight, just tired, no injury or anything like that. A couple other things I wanted to mention about the hydration and nutrition before I let you go. You're really going to have to practice. One of the things that led me to working with a sports dietitian to kind of dial all this in was I was burping a lot. I wasn't able to take in calories, and my stomach never got upset or anything like that, but I was just having a hard time keeping them down, and that's why when we did the sweat test, because it turned out that I was just I was dehydrated basically, and my stomach didn't have enough juices there to process everything, so I was burping a lot. But yeah, that's it. But in order to take the amount of calories that I do, 300 to 400 calories, and you'll have to find like what works for you. And I think that's about typical though, for like a long ultra. You're gonna have to practice taking that much in, because yeah, you'll have like issues like that where like burping, or you just don't want to take that much in. You kind of find yourself stopping and not taking in the calories when you should. I set a 30-minute timer, so when it goes, I just take one of those soft flasks out and squirt it some in my mouth, no matter what. Sometimes a little less, sometimes a little more, but just always taking something in. And that's why I like to do the 30 minutes. I'm always drinking some calories, and every 30 minutes I'm taking in at least some calories, so I'm never hitting that big deficit of not taking any calories in for, you know, like say an hour and a half. It's also important to remember that the end of the race, even though you think, oh, I've only got 3 more miles or 4 more miles, yeah, it could be an hour or more. So just keep taking it. That'll just keep you fueled throughout the end, and hopefully prevent you from you know, bonking in a major way. So once again, I hope this was helpful, and I hope everybody that's running is going well, and I look forward to talking to you guys next week. Thanks.